This is Mike Green. This is Guitar 101, and I will be giving you some basics on how to play the guitar today. We're going to start with tuning the guitar and also IDing the guitar. This is a regular Fender Stratocaster. These are the pickups here. This is called the bridge. This white thing here is called the nut. These are machine heads, also tuning pegs on some guitars. This is your volume knob, tone knobs. This switch is your pickups. So we're going to start with tuning the guitar. So here is the 6th string. The 6th string is the biggest or thickest string right here, and we're going to tune it. So if you're ready, here we go. String 6 is E. Should sound like this. 5th string is A. The 5th string is A. 4th string is D. 3rd string is G. 2nd string is B. And 1st string is E. So we have 2 E strings. This is the high E string, string 1. Now if your guitar's out of tune, you might want to tune it up with your tuner. In the end though, you have to learn to tune by ear. So over the weeks and months, you need to get your ear accustomed to what an E is and what an A is. Okay, so now we're going to look at the big string here. And these, by the way, are frets. 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, all the way up. And up here at the double dot, most guitars have a double dot, and that's the 12th fret. So if I say go up to the 10th fret, guess what? We're going to know that's 12, so that's going to be 10 right there. It's good to memorize this because the reason why we want to memorize this big string is if I tell you to play an A, we need to go, oh yes, that's at the 5th fret. And we know the 7th fret is going to be a B. So this is really important. Let's start on the 1st fret, 6th string or big string. This is going to be your F. Next is F sharp. 3rd fret is G. 4th fret is G sharp. 5th fret is A. 6th fret is A sharp. And we're up now to this 3rd dot, which is the what fret? The 7th fret. That's a B. After B, there's no B sharp. After B is C. After C is C sharp. 10th fret is D. 11th fret is D sharp. And the double dot, we go back to E. So down here we have open E. And up here we have the octave of E. There's a lot of E's on the guitar. Here's an E here. There's different E's. We're just going to look at the basic E's here, and we're going to start it really simple. Now on the A string, we have an open A. This is the 5th string. The 1st fret on the A string is going to be A sharp. 2nd fret is going to be B. 3rd fret is going to be C. 4th fret will be C sharp. 5th fret will be D. 6th fret is D sharp. 7th fret is E. 8th fret is F. After E is F. There's no E sharp, E to F. And then F sharp. And on the 10th fret, we have G. 11th fret, G sharp. And at the double dot, we're back to A. So open is A, and closed at the 12th fret is A. The reason we need to know these is we're going to be making power chords off of either the 6th string or the 5th string. I'm going to show you a basic power chord off of the 6th string. And this could be an F. Here's an F note. Here's an F power chord. Eventually, we want to bar this with the bone part of our finger here and make bar chords. That's where we hit all the strings. Right now, we're just going to hit the top 3 big strings. So this is our F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and our E. Okay, now we're going to talk about open chords. Open chords are used in rock, in blues, pop music, and these look like this. They're usually in the first 3 frets of the guitar. They'll look like this or this or this. They really sound the best of all the chords too. We're going to start with our A major. Our A major is going to be like this. We're going to start with the little finger on the 2nd string, ring finger on the 3rd string, middle finger on the 4th string. And you can play the 5th string on down. A major should sound like that. Let's look at C major. C major, you start with your index finger from the 2nd string, 1st fret. And you can go to the 4th string, middle finger. And these 2 fingers are going to be on strings 5 and 6. Little finger always supports ring finger. This is the way it should look, and you're going to play all the strings. C major. G major, we're going to start with our middle finger on the big string 3rd fret. Index finger is here, ring finger's on the 1st string. This is G major. D major, we're going to start with our middle finger on the 2nd fret, 1st string. Index finger is going to go on the 3rd string. Ring finger is going to go on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. Kind of looks like a triangle, and we're going to play the 4th string on down. Should sound like that. Next is E major. E major, now here a lot of people will use their index finger and make an E major like this. I want you to use your middle finger, because a lot of times we'll need our index finger for other things. So we're going to start with our middle finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret. These 2 fingers are going to go on the 4th and 5th strings. So here's our E major, and we're going to go 6 on down. We're going to strum 6 on down. That's E major. Let's look at some minors. The easiest chord I believe there is, the chord I liked when I first started, was E minor. E minor, we're going to use our middle finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and our ring finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And we're going to play 6 on down. Minors kind of have a sad tone. Minors are used in blues and a lot of folk songs. Let's look at A minor. Now A minor is going to look a lot like E major, only you're going to move it over here to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. Same formation with your fingers though. And we're going to hit 5 on down. Okay, A minor is going to turn into B minor and C minor and D minor now. So here's the key, index finger has to be free. If you're playing the chord like this, it won't work. Index finger is free. A minor, we move it down 2 frets, put our index finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret, and we should be playing 4 on down. That's B minor. If we go up 1 more fret, we have C minor. Next fret is C sharp minor. D minor. And all the way up. So A minor, these are basically called the minor chords, and they all come off of A minor. A minor evolves to these other chords. So let's look at another minor chord. How about D minor? Here on D minor, we have our index finger on the 1st string, 1st fret. Middle finger goes on 3rd string, 2nd fret. Ring finger goes on 2nd string, 3rd fret. 4 on down. We forgot B major. Now, the problem with B major is there really is no open B major. We're going to play B major as a power chord. So our finger is going to go right here. Our index finger is going to go on this 2nd fret, 5th string, which is a B. We're going to skip a fret, and we're going to put these 2 fingers on strings 3 and 4. And we're just going to play strings 5, 4, 3. 5, 4, 3. So we've done our minors, our majors. Oh, we forgot F. Now the famous F. This is a difficult chord for most people to make. The problem is you have to hold these 2 strings down right here on the 1st fret, down with 1 finger. We're going to be holding strings 1 and 2. Middle finger is going to hit 3. And these are going to hit 4 and 5. And you have to kind of lean the fingers down. And we're going to play 5 on down. So that's your F major chord. A lot of players don't like to play this way. They'll take this index finger, bring it up like this, and make it a power chord. So you could play it like this. Now if you're playing like this, you have to hit 5 on down. If you're playing it as a power chord, you're going to hit the top 3 big strings. So we have the F. Now the F, we should backtrack a little bit. The F is all based on this E chord. We're going to go more into this later when we talk about power chords. But F is based on the E chord. We take an E and we move it down 1 fret and put our finger here and we have an F, don't we? So E becomes F. This is very important, and this is what confuses a lot of people. So the power chords, which we'll get into soon, are all based on this E to F to G to A. but we'll cover that in the next section. Now we're going to talk about power chords and bar chords. This confuses people in the beginning because your hand has to make shapes that you're not used to making. I call these the 6-string power chords. We discussed this briefly before. If we're going to make an A power chord, we're going to start with an E, and we're going to move that E down. And our index finger is going to be placed right here. What note is this? It's the big string, first fret. That's an F. So this becomes an F power chord. The next fret, second fret, that's an F sharp. We're going to put our index finger here, and we're going to have that E shape again. It's just going to be moving down from F to F sharp. And now we have an F sharp power chord. Let's play that. Now if I wanted to bar this chord, I'd have to put some pressure on here, and I'd have to use the bone part of my finger to put pressure on here, and I could play all the strings then. We eventually want to be able to do that. The next fret is the third fret. This is going to be a G power chord, or here's a G bar chord. Fourth fret is G sharp. Fifth fret is an A. Sixth fret is an A sharp. And now we're up to 5, 6, 7th fret is going to be a B. Notice the B is a dot, the A is a dot, and the G is a dot. So you can think of these 3 dots as B-A-G. It's in the bag. B-A-G, B-A-G. It's a good way to remember it. So after the B, what do we have here? There's no B sharp, there's only C. So now we're going to play a C power chord. After C is C sharp at the dot. After C sharp is D. After D is D sharp, up here on the 11th fret. And you notice the frets are getting smaller. And up here on the double dot, which is the 12th fret, we have an E. We're not going to make E up there very much. We're going to make E mostly down here as an open chord. We could also use it as a 5th power chord. Now we're going to look at 5th power chords. These operate off the 5th string. This is the 5th string, not the 2nd string, but the 5th string. So that's an A sharp. So if I want to make an A sharp power chord, I put my index finger right here on the 1st fret, 5th string, skip a fret, and now I'm going to hit strings 3 and 4. So beginners tend to play all the strings on this, and it will sound really bad. It will sound like this. You want to play it like that. You want to play it 5, 4, 3. It's good to be able to mute this big string though with your index finger. If you can mute it, you'll get that sort of sound, which is good. Next is going to be B on the 2nd fret. 3rd fret is going to be C. 4th fret, C sharp. 5th fret is D. 6th fret is D sharp. 7th fret is E. 8th fret is F. There's no E sharp. And we're up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9th fret is going to be F sharp. 10th fret will be G. 11th fret, G sharp. And the double dot will be A. We don't play up the A up there very much because it just normally doesn't have the sound we want. Normally A power chord is going to look like this. Of course, your A open chord is going to look like that. Now we're going to talk about major scales and minor pentatonic scales. The two scales you're going to use most of the time are major scales and minor pentatonic scales. Whether you're playing rock and roll or blues, most of the time in blues you're playing a minor pentatonic scale. We're going to start with the major scale. Now the major scale, you've heard of the do, re, mi song. We're going to visualize this in a really easy way. We're going to start in the key of A, and I'm going to show you how to do the do, re, mi. It's important to look at the patterns here on the guitar because these patterns will transfer from an A to a G or a G to an F. It's the same pattern, so watch this. Here's the major scale, or do, re, mi, in the key of A. We're going to start with the 5th string, or the 6th string rather, on the 5th fret. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tones, and then the octave. So the scale ends in an octave. Here's a little trick you won't find in most books. Here's your A here. If we want to go to the octave of A, we're going to count 1, 2, 1, 2. So A and A octave. So we ended up with A octave. So there's 7 tones that make up what we call a major scale. So that you can always sing the little do, re, mi song. That's in the key of A. Let's do the do, re, mi in the key of G. Here we've got the big string on the 3rd fret. That's a G. Let's do the do, re, mi. So we start with G and we ended in G. Let's do the do, re, mi in the key of F. Where's F? Right down here, 1st fret. That's do, re, mi. So this is good to go through every day because it helps you organize your mind as far as what this guitar is and where are the F, the notes that sound good in F and the notes that sound good in G and the notes that sound good in A. It's really important to practice this and let your ear understand this fretboard, because in the end it's not looking at the fretboard, it's the hearing of the fretboard. So we did our do, re, mi. There's 7 tones. Let's do do, re, mi a more fun way. Let's do it in the key of E. Now I could go up here and go at the double dot. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But we're going to do it down here with an open E. So I start with an open E, and I ended right here on the 4th string, 2nd fret with an E. We can do the same thing with A. So in music, you won't always be playing straight scales, but you'll be playing those notes, maybe in a different order. Okay, so that's your major scale. Now we're going to look at minor pentatonic. Minor pentatonic is what you hear most of the time in rock, roll, and blues. We're going to start off in the key of A. So here's our pattern. So A minor pentatonic in A is going to be A, C, D, E, G, A. A, C, D, E, G, A. Now there's a lot of ways we can play that. We started with an A there when we did our scale. Let's start with the A up here on the 5th string, double dot. We're going to do the same thing. A, C, D, E, G, A. Now, let's do it as an open string down here on the first 3 frets. We're going to go A, C, D, E, G, A. We can go backwards too. Now, let's take it one step further. And we're going to do a couple scales now. We're going to do this A minor pentatonic in a little more complex way. Here we go. So this time I'm sliding with my index finger. I'm going to slide to the octave of A right here. A, C, D, E, G, A. Now I'm going to do the scale again. A, C, D, E. Now I have to shift my fingers because I'm on the 2nd string. When you get to the 2nd string, you have to shift down toward the bridge. So I'll do that again. So this 10th fret 2nd string we have to memorize is an A. So we had an A here at the 5th fret, we had an A here, and we had an A here at the 10th fret. We do the same thing in key of G. So where did I land that time? I landed on 5, 6, 7, 8th fret 2nd string. That's a G. So I went from G here to G here to G here. It's good to be able to do these frontwards and backwards. So that's our G. Let's look at different ways to do an A scale. So we did our A scale before, A, C, D, E, G, A, or A, C, D, E, G, A. Let's mix up those notes. So here's an A, and here's a G. That's part of that scale, isn't it? Let's go over here to an E, 2nd string, D, down to C, 1st fret, and over here on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, is an A. I'll do it again. Backwards. Let's carry it all the way over. So I end with an open A. I started with a closed A here. I ended with an open A. Now I can also do my scales up here. Here's an A up here. I can do my scales anywhere on the guitar. I just have to know where the A's are. So let's go from this 5th string, double dot. So there's your A minor pentatonic scale from the double dot. Let's look at E scale now. We did E up here. Let's continue it on. So I started E at the double dot big string, and I ended up on the second string, up on the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17th fret. So I had 3 E's there, didn't I? I had an E here, an E here, and an E here. Could also go down here and do them open. So what E minor pentatonic is E, G, A, B, D, E. Now it's good to be able to say those as you practice. That way you will learn the fretboard. E, G, A, B, D, E. Let's look at another way to do that. Let's look at doing the scales from the 2nd string, 5th fret. Now let's go, instead of E, G, A, B, D, E, E, D, B, A, G, E. Now you might want to do a little bend along the way. Or a little slide. You might want to carry it all the way over here. Okay, so that is our minor pentatonic scale. Looked at several different ways. Now we're going to look at finger picking. There's different ways to finger pick. I'm going to teach you an easy way with 3 fingers. Some of the old blues players would use 2 fingers like a hook and would play like this or like this. Most contemporary people play with 3 fingers. Just some jazz and classical people will use 5 fingers. I'm going to show you an easy way to pick with 3 fingers. First of all, our thumb is going to be our bass player. Most of the time your thumb is going to be hitting the 6th string or the 5th string, and occasionally it's going to be hitting the 4th string. Here's the rule. Index finger or pointer only plucks the 3rd string. Here's our 3rd string right here. It's not there, it's right here. 1, 2, 3. And our middle finger is going to only pluck 2 and 1. So let's hit 6, 3, 2, 1. It's best to not look when you're doing this. It's best to get a feel for this, so try not to look at the fretboard. So now that your hands are programmed to do 6, 3, 2, 1, we're going to make a chord that sounds good with that pattern. Let's start with a G, open chord, major. We're going to hit 6, 3, 2, 1. Now E major will also sound good with the 6, 3, 2, 1 because we're starting with the root note, E. And when we play G, we started with a G. There's a G. That's the root of G. Now we're going to play an A major, and the only finger that's going to move is the thumb. Now we're going to play 5, 3, 2, 1. You notice index finger and middle finger do not move. They're still playing 3, 2, 1. Now let's make a C. Now on C, it's going to be 5, 3, 2, 1 because your little finger is on what's a C right here. Don't start from 6, start from 5. That's where the C is. That's your C major. Now we're going to look at D. D, we're going to start with an open D string and go 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, we're starting with the root note. Now you can also, once you have the basics down, you can alternate your bass. You can hit a 4, 3, 2 and go over to the A string and hit 5, 3, 2. Whatever sounds good. The rule is what sounds good to your ear is the right thing to play. So let's look at E major. We can do a 6, 3, 2 and do a 5, 3, 2. Sounds pretty good. So with picking, it's just a matter of every time you make a D chord like this, moving your thumb down to that 4th string and doing the 4, 3, 2 or 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you're making this A, you should be automatically having your thumb come up to the 5th string. If you're making a G, it should come up to the 6th string. With some practice, you can do that. We're going to talk about timing now, and also changing chords. Timing is difficult for people because it's something that is very abstract. So I'm going to show you an easy way to keep time. We're going to start with a simple song like House of the Rising Sun. House of the Rising Sun is going to start with an A minor. And we have to figure out how many beats there is to beat House of the Rising Sun. There's 2 beats, so I'm going to stomp my foot twice here. I'm going to go. There is a house. There is, that's 2. And then a house. That's C, that had 2 beats. In New Orleans, it's a D, that's 2 beats there. 2 beats on F. A minor they call, there's 2 beats. The rising sun. So if we don't quantify the number of beats, we really can't play the song. In the beginning, you're going to have to keep really simple. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun. Oh, notice that E had a 4, didn't it? And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. In God, I know I've won. So most of those were 2 beats. You have to break it down that way. And all these songs, you'll notice, are a little bit different. Some will have 4 beats for a chord. Sometimes it'll be 2 beats. But most of rock and roll and blues and pop is based on the 4. So there's 4 of this and 4 of that, or double the 4, or half the 4. But it's always based on the 4. Now we're going to look at changing chords. This is an issue for people when they first start. They go, well, gee, how do I get from my A to my G? So let's look at the philosophy here of changing chords. You're in an A, and you want to get to G. How do you do that? Well, most people will panic and do this a while, and then kind of try to figure out how to get to a G. There's always a lead finger. Now, sometimes it's your index finger, sometimes it's your middle finger, could be little finger. For me, going from an A to a G, the middle finger is going to lead because my middle finger has to hit the big string right here on the 3rd fret. So I'm going to go, and the way I look at it is these fingers have to follow that leader. There's always a leader. So A to G. And of course, most of this is practice. Now, how do I go from a G to an A? Well, there's 2 ways you could look at it. You could look at the middle finger being on the 4th string, leading. That's okay. Actually, when I go from a G to an A, I'm looking at little finger leading to the 2nd string. I want to make sure I hit that 2nd string. So I'm going to let my little finger lead. And that works for me. The main thing is choose a finger. Let's go from a D to a C. Here's a D. Where's the C? Well, the C starts up here. So I believe my index finger should lead and start with the 2nd string, 1st fret. And these are going to follow. But there's always a lead finger. Well, that's it for Guitar 101. I hope this was helpful. The main bit of wisdom I can give you is that you have to practice at least a half hour a day. Practice makes perfect, as I say, and to learn these chord shapes, you have to get your hand used to the guitar. You actually have to develop these muscles in here. So you'll feel clumsy at first, but if you keep at it, it'll get easier. So again, thank you very much, and visit me at michaelgreenmusic.com. Thanks.